I'm Thad.
And I am Daza, and we are here just in the aftermath of a really great meeting of the Code for America Boston Brigade.
Yep. Tonight we've been working on a current project of the Brigade, started by Calvin Metcalf, to put mass laws online in a modern format.
Mm. Looking at how that modern format can be used to transform the value of that data set itself, the law. The HTML format that when Kelvin found it, stranded in a sense in HTML on the Mass Legislature, is one that tags bold, italic, that sort of stuff, but it doesn't give you any traction in a Web 2.0 design pattern. If you want to have apps, if you want to integrate services, if you want to be able to actually work with the underlying concepts of the law, sort of semantically, now that is possible. And really what's happening here, I think, at the Boston Brigade is well reflective of a national surge of innovation and development on the law as data just all around the country. It's pretty exciting times. And so these open data projects, these transparency projects that are centered around the law have the promise of changing a great deal. And they're also, between the different states and the different jurisdictions, it seems like the different teams are kind of highlighting different features and functions and concepts and ideas. And that's been really exciting as well. So here in the Boston Brigade, I know, Thad, you've been working diligently with a team and with Calvin on this data set. What are some of the ideas and some of the kind of functions that you've been working on? And what could people that might want to jump in, what are the sorts of things that they could roll up their sleeves and kind of sink their teeth into?
Yeah. Well, tonight we talked to Emily and Ari, and we had Calvin and Alex online on GitHub. And just here, we've been talking about sort of a function to allow you to favorite laws and reflect that in the database, an annotation system that cross-links and allows a richer syntax of kind of discussion.
Yeah, annotation is so important for the law.
Yeah. Also, we talked about sort of social linking, maybe Twitter, Facebook, things like that, where you can share you can sort of zoom in on a particular law and then talk about why that's important to you or why it's crazy that this law got passed in the early 1900s or something. We also dug down around sort of the concepts, like the concept of the evening, the night, which turns out to be pretty important in the law. These are just some of the things we were tossing around.
Making real progress too. The Boston Brigade and Code for America and all the civic hacking this trend that we're part of, it really is about volunteerism. It's about participation. It's about collaboration. And this video is about that too. I mean, when you said, "Hey, we ought to make a video for the people that aren't here yet to make it easier for them to understand the project," I thought that was a great idea. So let's go all the way and let's just say people want to get into it. What would you tell them about where are our information assets? What is the structure of the project? So you can get a little bit of a better sense of how to jump in.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a look.
Great.
Right now, you can see the masscode.org site, which presents the app user interface for the open searchable API of the Mass Laws project. And what we're seeing next is the Code for America Boston Brigade GitHub repository for this project. The first aspect is the JSON file with all the laws decoded and ready to parse, ready to run through with your code. Second, in the laws folder, we have a modifiable thin JavaScript app which hooks into a CouchDB database for search and filterability functions.
That's so cool. I want that law. So how soon? How quick? Is it done yet? Are we there?
Yeah. Well, it's completely functional in terms of pulling the laws up and giving it a sort of a good interface, a starting interface to read. So you can get in there. You can link just particular laws, things like that. We're really excited to get into for everyone to get into the GitHub issues and look at the ideas there and riff off them. Sort of think about how you can any ideas that you have to work with us and develop further
around the API. So, and that really is, just to really emphasize that, that's where the action is. So if you want to get into the project, look at the GitHub issue tracker first and take a look at the history. If you want to get into the project, you have some ideas, you have some questions, concerns, comments, GitHub issues tracker. Like it's just how it's done. Now, I think it's worth saying that as we look forward, this project, while it is at a really good state, I really feel the best days are ahead of it in terms of the innovation. You opened a lot of amazing issues, deep, important issues tonight. There's more ideas slowly percolating up, and as we look across the nation and see what is happening in Virginia, see what's happening in San Francisco, and some of the other jurisdictions, and the types of very well-structured thinking coming from like the Sunlight Foundation and now the OpenGov Foundation, and quite a few think tanks and innovators from around the country and around the world, it's clear that we are possibly near the early part of a cycle of tremendous innovation. So there's plenty of room for people to jump in and have more ideas and contribute them and innovate. And
civic innovators.
It's what we do. And so looking forward, I guess I would just say, imagine what it will be like when the laws have structure reliably, like in the API from the Sunlight Foundation's state decoded, I'm sorry, it's really community state decoded effort right now. And you can not only see where a judge in a judicial case is cited to a statute and start to look at those patterns. You can see whether the statute's repealed and when it's been amended, maybe when a law is going to be effective in 2.5 years from now. That may affect your business or your rights or obligations in some way.
Timeline of some kind.
Totally. Time series. Put it on a map. Do a scattergram. Get some computational analytics. Get some business intelligence, and do some we can now do creative thinking at a level of engagement and possibility that was never before possible. Because we're taking the law back. It's our law to start with. We consented to be governed, and we're held to know what the law is. Ignorance of the law is not any excuse. I think we know that. Well, this is your law. And thanks to the Boston Brigade, now finally those words have a real genuine meaning, an actionable meaning that you can put an app on, integrate a service with, and actually render the value of the law actionable in your lives. So come on down, and let's just say that some people are interested out there. They want to learn more. What is the very, very best way that they can jump in? What do they do?
Well, GitHub is completely open. If you're here in Boston, definitely please come check us out on every Tuesday evening. We're at the Cambridge Innovation Center now at 1 Broadway, and we always can coordinate through Meetup. So meetup.com and search for Code for Boston. It'll come right up, and you can RSVP, and we'd love to see you. If you're just online, feel free to submit pull requests. We're very conversant with GitHub, and we'd love to join you.
Yeah, we would indeed. And we'd love for you to join us online. So get involved, jump in, and help us weave that national mosaic of interoperable, interlinked, cross-referenced, liquid, live law. It's on. Get on board.
Hey, okay.